Okay, we're going to go over right now how to format your station. Formatting is simply saying when your listeners are listening, what do you want them to hear. Every station, every radio station has a format. The good stations that sound good, it's because they have a format. If you don't have a format, it's basically going to play whatever whenever it chooses to, and it's not going to sound professional. So we're going to go over formatting right now. The way you do that is you go up to the config button, Sound Broadcaster, click that, go down to playlist rotation rules. Alright, these are the important things to make sure your station sounds professional for your listeners, and make sure that certain things are happening. First part of this playlist rotation rule are these 4 categories, which are very important. These 4 categories determine how often you'll hear a song, or artist, or something from an album. If you have a really large library, you want to increase these numbers in minutes. If you have a smaller library, if you don't have a lot of songs in there, then you may want to decrease these. These are the default settings. It says to not play the same album within an hour. Don't play the same artist within 120 minutes. That's just 2 hours. Don't play the same title within 4 hours. Don't play the same track within 4 hours. Those are decent settings. If you keep that as at this setting right here, those are decent settings. That's saying, like, if you hear a song right now, you won't hear it again until, like, if it's morning time, they won't hear it again until like around lunchtime. And if they hear it at lunchtime, they won't hear it again until about the drive home. If they hear it on the drive home, they won't hear it again until evening time. So that's good format. The other option right here is how many songs you want to keep in the queue. Some people keep it at 0. It's up to you. What I noticed that those who broadcast live usually like to keep songs in the queue, because that way it lets them know what's coming up next, let them know when their breaks are coming in, all that cool stuff. So you can play with that. I mean, you can take it all the way up to like 99. I usually don't keep it any higher than about 12 15. That's me personally, because the more songs you have in your queue, it's going to put more strain on your memory, the resources. So but anyway, we're going to put this at about 15. Alright, now this part that we just talked about with the playlist rules is important, because when we go into this formatting, which is here, it's going to reference this, and I'm going to show you where. Alright, when we want to go and format our station as far as setting up the I guess you can call it a playlist. This is where you go. You go into that config button, it'll bring you up here. Now the category rotation logic is basically where you can actually say what you want it to do, as far as what songs you want it to play. I'm gonna go ahead and clear this out. We're gonna create our own playlist here. Alright, now if you haven't set up your categories as far as putting music into your rotation, or putting content into like your jingles, station IDs, promos, all that stuff, you don't have to do it before you do this part, but it's recommended you do, because it makes things easier. Because once we do this format here, it should automatically populate what we have here into our queue so we can make sure it's actually doing what we say do. So let's do this. There's different options to give you here as far as to what you want to set up first. What's in the playlist? What do you want to be the first thing that plays? So it gives you option to add a category, add a directory, add a request. For the purpose of what we're doing today, we're going to focus on category. Alright, so if you go into category, it'll give you the same look as you had right here in the playlist side. It's basically saying, okay, select a category. What do you want us to play first? Alright, so you can select tracks. Just pick anything random out my tracks folder. You can say maybe pick something from my music folder. Let me tell you how I usually do it. Go right into special. You want to go into weighted rotation. Alright, weighted rotation is should be all your music. You should have all this in these different categories. This gives you more control over your format of what your listeners hear. So let's say I want to start off with a power hit. I want to start my weighted rotation. Start my format off with a power hit. Now some options over here I gotta select. Remember earlier I said something about the playlist, the amount of time between songs? this checkbox right here says enforce playlist rotation rules, meaning do you want to enforce what you said before about the song played 3 hours ago, don't play it again for another 3 hours, or you with a power hit, or you want to say forget those rules, just play it because I like the songs and power hits, so play them. If they play 2 times an hour, I'm fine. So checking that box basically says you want to enforce the rules of don't play it for a certain amount of time. Unchecking the box says play it whenever, don't worry about the rules. Alright, for the purpose of this, I'm going to check the box to say enforce playlist rules. Now there's other options here saying select the method you want us to use to basically play the music in the power hit category. You want us to do weighted rotation, meaning in the power hit category some may be 100, some may be 92. So you want us to pick the one that's 100 and play that one. That's what weighted means. Priority, meaning do you want certain songs that have in that category that have a priority rating to play more. Random, you're just saying do you want to just pick any random song in that category. You could say do you want us to play the most recently played song again, or actually least recently played song. Or what about the artist? Maybe it's a certain artist you want us to play that has may have about 10 or 15 songs in your power hits. You want us to play the most recently played artist. Same thing with the least recently played artist. What I do to get a good rotation is I usually select that, but I always select the least recently played artist or least recently played song. It gives you a really good rotation. So that way, if you got 20 songs in your power hit, you won't just hit the top 5 because you have weighted. So that's what I recommend. But you can do whatever you want. This is not, as they say, man law. You can select whatever you want. For the purpose of this, I'm going to say least recently played artist. Click OK, and there's my first command in my playlist. I'm going to pull power hit. Now I'm going to keep on doing this. Select category. I'm going to go to special. I'm going to go to weighted rotation. I'm going to do this one's going to be a heavy rotation. Enforce my playlist rules. I want this to be weighted. Go there, and I'm going to keep on doing this till I get a nice little format what I like. The wrong one here. Go into special. I'm going to go back into weighted. I'm going to do another heavy rotation. Now I want you to play at least recently played song. Alright, and it's telling me right here, least recently played song, enforce rules. So it's telling me how it's gonna play it. Keep going. Let's see, I'm gonna do one more. Let's say I want a light rotation on this one. Now you can pick a random one. Alright, now what I'm saying right now is, so far I want it to play 4 songs before it does anything else in my rotation. So my playlist, my format, you should hear, if you listen to this station, you should have a power hit first. And you should hear 2 heavy hits or heavy rotation and a light rotation. Now let's say I want to drop in a station ID right there. I go back to category. Now this time select on content. Now I'm going to go into my station ID category and select this. Now what I recommend on this, when you're selecting station IDs, advertisements, stuff like that, I always uncheck this box, because unless you got 30, 40, 50 station IDs, you want to check this box because you want it to play this station ID more than once every 4 hours. So I select that box, and then with station IDs, I always try to get a good rotation of station IDs in there, so I always select the least recently played song. Again, you can choose whatever you want. It's just the way I do it, to make sure I have a different station ID playing in my rotation every time it hits that command. Alright, and click OK. So now I have, this is my format so far. If you listen to the station, you'll hear power hit, 2 heavy rotations, a light rotation, and then a station ID. Now if I stop this right now and I do nothing else, it's going to follow this format repeatedly until I change it. So always play a power hit, heavy rotation, light rotation, station ID, and go back to the top. Power hit, heavy rotation, light rotation, station ID. They'll keep doing that. So whatever you put here in this particular section, you can make this list as long as you want. You can make it as detailed as you want. It'll keep going through all these commands till it reach the bottom, then it'll loop and go back to the top of the command. And this is how you get your format for your station. So when you listen to your local stations, this is the format they use. They use this type of scripting, or it may be a little bit more detailed, but it's the same concept, where they'll have certain songs will play more than others because of the way they got it formatted. You can also do stuff like, you know, if you want to add, let's go back to content. Let's say if you have an advertisement you want to add, same thing, click on advertisement. Again, what I do with ads, unless you got about, you know, 100, 200 in there, I want to uncheck that, and then I'll select to make sure my advertisers get good rotation, at least recently played. So now it's going to play a power hit, heavy rotation, light rotation, station ID, advertisement. Once I finish that, I always save it, because, you know, this is how you can create multiple playlists or formats for different times of year. So if you got a Christmas rotation, Labor Day rotation, you may have a weekend rotation, stuff like that. But you basically save it. I always save it. Call it like main rotation. And you can save it in whatever folder. Matter of fact, I'm put this in the doc. Put it right here. I'm put it right here. You can save whatever folder you want. Okay, it's not going to save it there. But anyway, select wherever you want to save it. Click save, and that main rotation, which you have right here, will be saved. You click OK, and that's what you got. It's going to be there. All right. There's a couple different options too for your playlist logic. You also have web scripting if you're using some type of logic module, like where you have like another server run this. And then you got weighted playlist rotation. This one doesn't allow you to actually do the format. It basically just says it's gonna use a weighted rotation you set up over here, and it's gonna pick random stuff. So yeah, you know, if you like that, if you just want to play music and don't really care about formatting, that's the easy way to do it without having to worry about formatting. Just select weighted playlist rotation logic, configure it on what you want, reduce the weight by a certain amount, increase weight, you know. But that's really self-explanatory. But if you want to do like we just did, make sure it's on clock wheel. Alright, once you do that, click OK. And what you will do is, let me put my cue on. You'll see it start rolling, and what I had, start adding stuff to my queue. It's going to automatically add it based off what I put in, based off the format. So that's how you basically set up your format for your radio station. Thanks for watching.